Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to install these Novsight Cyber One lights onto one of your auxiliary switches on your Jeep Wrangler JL or JT.
It's going to be legend, wait for it, dairy.
So on my Jeep Gladiator, I have the upgraded auxiliary group. So I have 4 auxiliary switches that I can wire to anything I'd like. Auxiliary 4 is already onto some rock lights, so we're going to use auxiliary 3 for these new Podlights that I'm going to put on the A-pillar. Your kit is basically going to come with everything that you see here, except for this additional A-pillar mounting brackets. I had to buy those separate. But it's going to come with the 2 main lights. It's going to come with amber covers, instruction manual, your wiring harness, and then these brackets to mount them as well. So mounting these lights seems pretty straightforward, so let's get to it. So to mount to the auxiliary switches, there is a wiring harness that's just on the inside of underneath the hood here, kind of tucked between the fender and the battery. You just need to locate that wiring harness, pull it out, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So what you're looking for is this here. And one of mine is already being used, that's auxiliary 4. The bigger 2 are going to be auxiliary 1 and 2. Those are going to be for high voltage. And then the smaller one is auxiliary 3, which is the red one. That's the one that we're going to use. First thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get our mounting bracket in place, and then that way we can know how far we need to run the wire to. And to get these on, they're going to hook into this bolt and this bolt. Now, in order to run that wire through here and just kind of hide it seamlessly, we'll have to loosen up these 2 bolts just to run that wire through. And I believe that's going to be a T30. Let's go ahead and just take those right out. Well, this won't pop off yet until you remove these 2 bolts as well. Now that we got those 2 bolts out, this should pop right off. Set that off to the side for right now. Next, we're going to take a T47. We're going to loosen this bolt. So next, you're going to want to take the wiring harness that came with your lighting kit. So this wiring harness came with this 3rd option, which leads to a button, essentially. And this is if you wanted to like route this button to the inside of your vehicle. That way you had something to turn the lights on and off. Obviously we're not going to use it because we're going to take it right to the auxiliary switch. So it just has a quick disconnect. I disconnected that and then I zip tied all of it together. This wiring harness is going to live essentially kind of right in this general area wherever I can find room. There's 2 wires that are going to be wired. The black is going to be your ground. That's going to go to a bolt on the body. And then this red one is going to go to our auxiliary 3 switch. So we'll have to hook those in eventually. Right now I'm not going to hook that part up. I'm just going to make sure I have enough, line to get from here to the other side of the Jeep. And then obviously from here to here is plenty. So this is the mounting kit that I have. You're going to take this piece and this piece here. And essentially this is going to live right there. And then this is going to get mounted just like that. And then our wiring is basically going to come from the bottom of this and then kind of get hidden right into here. So that wire is going to be kind of tucked in there. So we can go ahead and put that piece back on, the cowl piece. I'm going to get these shorter bolts started in the side right now to kind of hold it in place. Let me drop this top one in the front end. Alright, so this aluminum bushing will go here. This is a new bolt that comes with this kit. So slide that right into there. Go ahead and get that bolt started. Add this piece back in now too. Alright, so I got this bracket in place. All these bolts are tightened down. Now we're going to take this next bracket that came with the Novsight kit. It's going to sit right on here. And there's a hole here and a hole here, and you're just going to slide this bolt through and then put the nut and the washer and the lock washer on the back side of it. Before I tighten this bolt down, I just want to make sure everything lines up. So that looks pretty good right there. So we'll go ahead and tighten this one up. Now that we have this bracket secure, we can go ahead and drop our light in place. And on either side of it, there's mounting points. You just take the included hardware. Go ahead and get this side started. Right, so we have the first side mounted. We just need to repeat that process on the other side. Now that we have both of the lights mounted on the driver and passenger side, we need to go ahead and get the wiring done, and then just make sure they turn on before we wrap everything up. Okay, so I know it may be a little hard for you guys to see this, but there is a bolt in here that is basically, it's just a bolt that, you know, comes with the Jeep that my rock lights have been tied into for the negative. So I'm probably just going to use that same bolt. So I just need to get that nut off there, slide this on there, and then, you know, put that bolt right back on. And then for our positive, we're going to take this and we're going to tie it into the red one, which is our Auxillary 3. So I have the negative to the bolt here, and then this extra wiring. I actually just hooked it right into that same bolt. That way it's just not loose in here and it's not moving around. So now we just need to take our positive and then hook it to this one here. Using a pair of wire strippers, I just took that little piece off so it exposes the copper. And then we'll use our butt connector. That in there. We'll clamp that on. Then we'll have to cut this piece off. Strip this. And put it in the other end of our butt connector. I'm going to plug the lights into the harnesses, and then we'll go ahead and get in the Jeep and just make sure they turn on before we go ahead and finish everything up. Alright, moment of truth. Let's turn the Jeep on, hit Auxillary 3, and see if these things turn on. You're going to click the settings button, and then you're going to go to aux switches. Then we're going to hit Auxillary 3. And we're going to keep it on latching. Power source, we're going to have ignition. And then we're going to turn the recall last state off. And then we'll exit out of that. So I had everything hooked up. I thought it was going to work. Hit the Auxillary 3, nothing turned on. So I was like, well, what's going on? I have everything hooked up. So I disconnected this butt connector. You know, I just put the wires together to see if that would work. You know, maybe it was a connection issue, that didn't work. So what I found out, and I did get the new work, what I found out is, so this kit has this extra button that comes with it, and it has to be connected. There must be like a relay to it that if you have it disconnected, it's just not going to work. So now this has to be on. So what I'm going to do is I'll just keep it connected. I'll leave it on at all times. And now I hit auxiliary 3. As you can see, the lights just popped on. So yeah, they're bright. They look like they're going to do well. But like I said, this just has to be connected because if it's off, obviously those lights turn off. So we'll just tuck this up in the engine bay, you know, make sure it's protected, and then we're just going to leave it in the on position, and then that way we can just turn it on and off from the auxiliary switch in the Jeep. So now that I know that it works, I need to go ahead and clean up all this wiring and just make sure it all looks good. Alright guys, I have this wired up the best I can. There's a bunch of extra wire in there that I didn't really have a whole lot of place to put it, but it is what it is. It's in there. And then over here, that wire that runs the current along there, I ran that right against the hood line, right underneath those bolts. I basically just took each one of those nuts off and I ran it right underneath of that. And then that way it kind of tucks up over on that other side. Alright guys, we got lights. The Novsight lights are on. It wasn't too bad of an install. A little confusion with that extra button that you had to have plugged in. But overall it went pretty smooth. Thanks to Novsight for sponsoring this video, by the way. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do these lights is Michigan winters, the snow and the ice coming down. Today when I drove my daughter to school today, headlights and my fog lights completely iced over just because they're LEDs and they don't heat up at all. Obviously these are LEDs as well, but hey, the more lights the better. Alright guys, this is our first big snowstorm of the year. This is my regular headlights with my high beams on, and this is with the Novsight Cyber One lights. As you can see, quite a bit of difference. That's going to be it for this video. We will catch you guys in the next one.